The medical wing of Station K-47 was quiet in a way that felt heavy. Machines hummed softly. Lights blinked without emotion. Rows of beds held beings from many worlds. Some slept. Some healed. One did not move at all. She lay on the last bed, near the wall, where fewer people passed. Her body was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and silver lines that ran like veins along her neck. Her eyes were open, wide, and alert, but her body was still. Completely still. She was alive. Everyone knew that. But no one believed she would ever move again. Doctors had tried everything. Neural scans, energy therapy, regrowth chambers. Nothing worked. Her nervous system was damaged beyond repair, they said. Her kind depended on fast signals between mind and body. Once broken, those paths never returned. She is stable, one doctor had said weeks ago. That is all she will ever be, another replied. After that, they stopped coming often. The alien woman could hear them. She could hear everything. The soft steps of nurses, the low voices of doctors, the distant sound of ships docking and leaving. She could feel time passing, slow and cruel. She could not blink on command. She could not speak. She could not scream. Her mind was trapped inside a body that no longer answered. Sometimes visitors came for other patients. Families, friends, warriors with medals. No one came for her. Her people had already listed her as lost. Not dead, just finished. They called her non-responsive. She hated that word. One cycle, the door slid open again. Not with doctors this time. A human walked in. Humans were rare on Station K-47. They were known more for machines and medicine. Engineers, mechanics, survivors from harsh worlds. This human was not tall, not strong-looking. He wore a simple work suit, stained with grease and dust. His hair was dark and messy. His eyes moved quickly, always noticing things. His name was Evan. He was there to repair the station's life support grid. A power fluctuation had caused failures in the lower decks. The medical wing was last on his list. As he worked, Evan noticed a quiet. Not peaceful quiet, abandoned quiet. His eyes moved across the beds. Most were empty. One was not. He stopped. The alien woman's eyes were watching him. Evan frowned slightly. He stepped closer, slowly, as if afraid to scare her. He waved one hand in front of her face. Her eyes followed the motion. "She's awake," he said quietly. A nearby nurse sighed. "Yes, she is always awake." "Why isn't she restrained?" Evan asked. "She doesn't move," the nurse replied. "She can't." Evan looked at the woman again. Something about her stare made his chest feel tight. There was awareness there. Fear, anger, hope, all trapped. "What happened to her?" he asked. "Combat injury," the nurse said. Her neural spine was shattered. "Our technology cannot repair it." Evan was silent for a long moment. On his belt was a small, reinforced container. Matte black, no medical markings, just a warning symbol in human language. The nurse noticed it. "That is not approved equipment," she said. Evan nodded. "I know." He finished his assigned repair, but he did not leave. Instead, he stood at the foot of a bed, thinking, remembering. Humans had learned many things during their wars. One of them was adaptation. When medicine failed, they changed themselves. When bodies broke, they used what they had. The container held adaptive biofluid, a living mix of human cells and nanotech, designed to respond to damage and rebuild under extreme conditions. It was dangerous, unstable, banned outside human use. Other species feared it. Evan had seen it save soldiers with half their bodies gone. He looked at the alien woman again. Her eyes did not blink, but they burned with silent need. A senior doctor entered the room. "Why are you still here, human?" she asked sharply. Evan turned. "Why did you give up on her?" The doctor stiffened. "We did not give up. We accepted reality." "She's conscious," Evan said. "She understands everything. You left her like this." "There is nothing more to be done," the doctor replied. "Her species cannot regenerate neural paths." Evan took a slow breath. "Humans can." The doctor laughed once, short and cold. "That is irrelevant. She is not human. Evan unclipped the container from his belt. The room changed. Nurses froze. The doctor's eyes widened. Put that away. That fluid is forbidden. It adapts, Evan said calmly. It doesn't care about species. Only damage. You will kill her, the doctor warned. Or worse. Evan stepped closer to the bed. He could see fear in the alien woman's eyes now, but also something else. Trust. I won't hurt you, he said softly, even though he did not know if she could hear him clearly. I promise. Alarms began to beep as the container opened. Inside, the fluid shimmered, silver, blue, and gold, shifting like it was alive. Security was being called. Evan knew that. He did not stop. Carefully, with shaking hands, he began to coat the damaged area along her spine. The fluid reacted instantly. It spread, glowing brighter, pulsing as if sensing something deep inside her. The machine screamed. Energy readings spiked beyond safe limits. She's crashing, someone shouted. The alien woman felt it then. Heat, not pain, connection. For the first time since the injury, something answered her mind. Her fingers twitched. Just once. Evan saw it. His breath caught. She moved, he whispered. The alarms grew louder. Security doors began to close. And for the first time in a very long time, the alien who could not move felt hope surge through her body like fire. The alarms did not stop. Red light filled the medical wing as warning systems screamed from every wall. Machines flashed numbers no one had ever seen before. Energy levels climbed too fast, too high. Doctors shouted orders. Nurses ran back and forth. Security forces rushed toward the room. In the center of it all, Evan stood beside the bed, his hand still hovering near the alien woman's spine. The glowing fluid moved like it was alive. It spread slowly, carefully, as if thinking. Shut it down, a doctor yelled. Pull him away, another screamed. But Evan did not move. He was watching her hand. The alien woman felt everything changing inside her. The heat moved from her spine into her chest, then into her arms and legs. For years, her body had been silent. Now it was loud. Too loud. Her mind sent a command without hope. Move. Her fingers twitched again. This time, more than once. She could feel them. Her heart raced. Fear rushed in with the sensation. What if it stopped? What if this pain meant death? Her eyes locked onto Evan's face. He was pale now, sweat on his forehead, but his eyes were steady. You're doing great, he said softly. Stay with me. Security officers burst into the room, weapons raised. Energy shields flared. Human! Step away from the patient, the lead officer shouted. Evan did not turn. If you pull me away now, you might tear the connection, he said. Let it finish. This is an illegal procedure, the officer replied. You are endangering the station. She was already abandoned, Evan said quietly. I'm giving her a chance. The senior doctor pushed forward. You don't understand what you're using, she said. That fluid is not medicine. It's war tech. Evan nodded. I know exactly what it is. He remembered the battlefield. Broken bodies. Crushed nerves. Soldiers screaming as the fluid burned and rebuilt them at the same time. Many species could not survive it. Humans did, because humans had learned to live with pain. The fluid pulsed brighter. New patterns formed along the alien woman's spine, glowing lines weaving where nothing had worked before. The machines tried to measure it and failed. What is it doing? A nurse whispered. Learning, Evan answered. The alien woman felt something snap into place inside her mind. A missing bridge, suddenly rebuilt. She gasped. Air rushed into her lungs without machines forcing it. The sound shocked everyone. She breathed on her own, someone said in disbelief. Her chest rose. Fell. Again. Tears slid from her eyes, not from sadness, but from the simple miracle of control. She tried again. Her hand moved. Slowly, weakly, but it moved. The room fell silent. Even the alarm seemed to hesitate. She's responding, the doctor said, her voice shaking. Security hesitated, unsure. Then the floor shook. A deep vibration rolled through the station. Outside, heavy ships docked with force. Military-grade engines. Authority. The Galactic Medical Command had arrived. Evan knew what that meant. He gently sealed the container, stopping the flow of fluid. The glow dimmed but did not vanish. It had bonded now. The alien woman felt the heat settle into something warm and steady. Exhaustion crashed over her. Her eyelids grew heavy. Before sleep took her, she focused all her strength into one last movement. Her fingers closed. They wrapped around Evan's wrist. Gasps filled the room. She grabbed him. Someone whispered. Evan froze, afraid to break the moment. He looked down at her hand, thin and shaking but real. Alive. You did it, he said, his voice breaking. You really did. The door slid open again. This time, figures in dark uniforms entered. Symbols of command shone on their armor. The lead officer spoke with cold authority. Human engineer Evan Cross, you are under arrest for unauthorized biological interference. Evan slowly raised his hands. He did not resist. The alien woman's grip tightened. No, she tried to say, but her voice would not come yet. She needs rest, Evan said quickly. Her nervous system is rebuilding. Stress could. She will be taken for observation. The officer cut in, and you will answer many questions. Evan was pulled back. The distance between them felt too large, too sudden. The alien woman felt panic rise. She tried to move again. Her arm lifted only slightly before falling back. No, take him, she forced out, the word broken and weak. The room went still. Everyone stared at her. She had spoken, barely, but clearly enough. The command officer turned slowly. She can speak? Yes, the doctor said quietly. She should not be able to. The officer studied her. Then Evan. Something uncomfortable passed through his eyes. This changes things, he said. Evan was escorted out, his hands bound, but his eyes never left her. You're not alone, he said as he was taken away. I'll come back. I promise. The doors closed. The alien woman lay there, breathing on her own, feeling her body for the first time in years. Fear was still there. Pain, too. But something else was stronger now. Hope. Outside the room, alarms echoed across the station, not of failure, but of something far more dangerous. The galaxy had just seen what humans kept hidden, and it was afraid. The room felt different after Evan was taken away. The lights were softer now, dimmed by command order. Armed guards stood near the walls, silent and tense. Doctors moved carefully, as if the air itself might break. The alien woman lay on the bed, exhausted but awake. Her name was Lyrieth. No one had spoken it in a long time. Machines surrounded her, but many had been turned off. They no longer knew what to measure. Her body was changing faster than their system could understand. Inside her, something old and forgotten was waking up. Her mind felt clearer than it had in years. Thoughts flowed without effort. Memories came back, running across crystal fields, lifting her sister onto her shoulders, laughing as her body moved freely and without pain. She tried to move again. Slowly, her fingers curled. This time, it was not an accident. A nurse gasped. Doctor, she did it again. The senior doctor stepped closer, eyes wide with disbelief. Increase neural scans, she ordered. All layers. The screens lit up with impossible images. Neural pathways, once shattered and dead, were glowing. Not replaced. Not copied. Rebuilt. That's not regeneration, the doctor whispered. That's adaptation. Lyrieth felt the warmth spread deeper. The human fluid was no longer burning. It was weaving itself into her, listening to her body, learning how she worked. For the first time since the injury, she felt her legs. They were heavy, weak, but they were there. Tears ran down her face again. She tried to speak. Who? Man. Her voice was rough, broken, but real. The room froze. She's forming speech without assistance, a medical officer said in shock. No external stim. Another added. That should be impossible. Lyrieth did not care about impossible. She cared about him, the human. He had looked at her like she was alive, not broken, like she still mattered. She pushed herself, gathering every bit of strength. Her arm lifted a few centimeters off the bed before falling back. Pain flashed, but she welcomed it. Pain meant connection. Far away, in a cold holding chamber, Evan sat alone behind an energy barrier. His tools were gone. His hands were shaking. He replayed the moment again and again in his mind. Her fingers moving. Her grip on his wrist. Her voice. She spoke, he whispered to himself. A command officer entered the chamber. Tall, gray-skinned, eyes sharp and calculating. You knew this would happen, the officer said. Evan looked up. I hoped. You use forbidden technology, the officer continued. You risked a station of 10,000 lives. Evan met his gaze. I saved one. The officer was silent for a moment. That fluid, it rebuilt her nervous system. Yes. Your species never shared it. No, Evan said calmly, because the galaxy never asked why humans survived things others couldn't. The officer studied him. And why is that? Because when humans break, Evan replied, we don't stop, we change. Back in the medical wing, Lyrieth was lifted carefully into a recovery chair. Her body shook with effort, but she did not lose consciousness. Doctors watched closely as she focused again. Move. Her leg responded. Only a little, but enough. A sound escaped her throat. Half laugh, half sob. She's engaging lower motor control, a nurse said. This shouldn't be happening this fast. The senior doctor's voice was tight. This shouldn't be happening at all. Lyrieth closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the chair beneath her, the air on her skin. Every sensation felt sharp and new, like she was alive for the first time again. She opened her eyes. Who? Man, where? The room went silent. She's asking for him, someone whispered. The doctor hesitated, then answered honestly. He was taken by command. Lyrieth's chest tightened. Panic rose fast. The warmth inside her flared in response, reacting to stress. The machine spiked again. Her heart rate is rising. Stabilize her. No, the doctor said suddenly. Wait! They watched as the glowing lines along Lyrieth's spine brightened, then steadied on their own. She's regulating it, the doctor said in disbelief. The fluid is responding to her emotions. Lyrieth forced herself to breathe slowly. She remembered Evan's voice. Stay with me. She calmed. The glow softened. She's controlling it, the doctor whispered. She's part of the process. Hours later, the Galactic Council gathered via hololink. Faces from dozens of species filled the air above the room. Reports were shared. Data streamed. Arguments began. This is a violation of biological law. This could change medical science forever. This is a threat. Lyrieth listened quietly. When they asked if she could speak again, she nodded once. Slowly, deliberately. Yes, she said, clearer this time. Every voice stopped. She looked straight at the projection of the council. I was alive, she said, choosing each word with care. You left me, awake, inside a dead body. No one spoke. A human saw me, she continued. He did not ask what I was. He asked if I could be saved. Her hand tightened on the chair. I am standing here, she said, because humans do not fear broken things. The council chambers erupted, some in fear, some in wonder, some in anger. In his cell, Evan felt the floor vibrate as systems across the station adjusted. Something big was happening. He leaned back, closing his eyes. She remembered. He whispered. And somewhere in the medical wing, Lyrieth tried again to stand, shaking, weak, but smiling, while the galaxy slowly began to realize a terrifying truth. Humanity did not just survive. Humanity fixed what others abandoned. The council chamber was loud. Voices from many worlds overlapped, sharp and angry. Holograms flickered as delegates argued, pointed, and accused. This is biological interference. This breaks every medical law. Humans cannot be trusted. Lyrieth sat in the center of the medical wing, still connected to monitors, still weak, but awake, alert, and listening. Every word cut deep. She could feel the human fluid react inside her body, not with pain, but with tension. It responded to her emotions like a living thing. The senior doctor stood beside her, hands clasped tightly. We need to move her, she whispered. Command orders full isolation. Lyrieth turned her head slowly. That simple motion still cost her effort, but she did it anyway. Where? Human? She asked. The doctor hesitated. Then she answered. In custody. Lyrieth's chest tightened. No, she said. This time, the word was clear. Security entered the room moments later. Heavy armor, cold faces. Patient Lyrieth. The lead officer said, You are to be transferred to secure research facility. She looked at him. Fear tried to rise, but she forced it down. She remembered the heat, the rebuilding, the control. I go, she said slowly. He comes. The officer frowned. The human is charged with. He saved me, Lyrieth interrupted. Her voice shook, but she did not stop. You watch me rot. He did not. Silence followed. The officer turned away. Move her. They placed her on a floating transport platform. As they lifted her, Lyrieth focused hard. Stand. Her legs trembled violently as the platform lowered. Pain flashed through her spine, but the warmth answered, steadying her. Gasps filled the room. She's putting weight on her legs, a nurse whispered. Lyrieth stood, barely, shaking, supported by rails, but standing. Cameras recorded everything. Across the station, news spread fast. Paralyzed alien stands after human intervention. Forbidden human tech confirmed. Galaxy medical laws questioned. In the holding wing, Evan was pulled from his cell and marched into an interrogation chamber. Bright lights, metal walls, no windows. A panel of officials waited. You have caused chaos, one said. Evan looked tired, but calm. Then the chaos was already there. I just showed it. You violated interspecies law. Evan nodded. So did you. You left a thinking mind trapped in a body you called useless. One official leaned forward. Do you know how dangerous that fluid is? Yes, Evan replied. That's why we never use it lightly. Yet you use it on an alien. I use it on a person, Evan said simply. They fell silent. Back in the medical wing, Lyrieth was wheeled into a scanning chamber. Dozens of sensors hovered around her. The results were undeniable. Neural response, active. Motor recovery, accelerating. Pain tolerance, rising. Adaptive bonding, stable. This recovery rate should be killing her, a scientist said in disbelief. But it's not. The senior doctor swallowed hard. Because humans evolve with pain. The fluid carries that tolerance. A council delegate appeared via HoloLink. This is a crime against galactic balance, he declared. Lyrieth looked up at the projection. You call it crime, she said, her voice stronger now. I call it mercy. The delegate sneered. Your emotions are compromised. No, she replied. My body was. The HoloLink cut briefly as arguments exploded again. Later, alone in a quiet room, Lyrieth tried again. Step. Her foot moved forward. Then another. She fell, but hands caught her before she hit the floor. She laughed softly. A broken sound, but real. I will walk, she whispered. I will find him. Outside, guards watched her with unease, because the galaxy was realizing something frightening. This was not a one-time miracle. This was proof. Proof that humans carried something dangerous inside them. Not weapons, not ships, but the ability to restore what the galaxy had given up on. And if humans chose to share it, everything would change. The Council did not sleep. Across the galaxy, screens stayed lit. Data streamed nonstop from Station K-47. Medical experts, generals, and leaders watched the same images again and again. A paralyzed alien standing. A forbidden human fluid bonding without rejection. A body rebuilding itself instead of breaking. They wanted answers. Lyrieth sat in a secure recovery chamber. The room was simple. Clean. Quiet. No chains. No restraints. But God stood outside the door at all times. She was no longer treated like a patient. She was treated like evidence. A group of scientists entered carefully. They did not rush her now. Fear had replaced confidence. We need to understand what is happening inside you, one said. Lyrieth nodded slowly. I also need Answers. They began the scans again, this time deeper, more precise. What they saw made many of them uneasy. The human fluid had not replaced the biology. It had joined it. It's not forcing change, a scientist whispered. It's responding to her body's needs. Like a partner, another said. The senior doctor crossed her arms. No, like a survivor. In the interrogation wing, Evan was finally brought before the full council through HoloLink. Dozens of towering figures stared down at him. You will explain, one demanded, why your species created such thing. Evan took a breath. Humans are fragile, he began. Our bones break. Our nerves fail. Our bodies wear down fast. Some council members nodded. They knew this, but we come from death worlds, Evan continued. Worlds that don't forgive mistakes. If we waited for perfect medicine, we would have gone extinct. The image behind him shifted. Old footage appeared. Early human wars. Harsh environments. Injured soldiers refusing to stop. So we learned to adapt, Evan said. When pain came, we didn't shut down. We changed how we lived with it. A council voice interrupted. That does not explain the fluid. It does, Evan replied. The fluid is made from us. Our cells. Our nanotech. It carries how we survive pain, not avoid it. Another voice spoke, colder. Then why did you never share it? Evan's jaw tightened. Because it hurts. Because many species would die from it. And because no one wanted to ask why humans could endure it. Silence followed. Back in her chamber, Lyrieth stood again. No help this time. Her legs shook, but she stayed upright. Each movement felt like fire and memory combined. She focused on balance, on breath, on control. Step. She moved forward. A doctor gasped. She's walking without support. Lyrieth smiled faintly. He said, humans survive by moving forward. Across the station, a council messenger rushed into the chamber where leaders debated. She's walking, he announced. Argument stopped. In the holo chamber, Evan looked up sharply. Is she stable? He asked. Yes, the messenger replied. More than stable. The council exchanged uneasy glances. This changes nothing, one insisted. Humans still violated law. No, another countered. It changes everything. Lyrieth was brought before the council via holoprojection. She stood on her own feet as her image filled the chamber. I was considered finished, she said calmly. You measured my body and forgot my mind. She looked directly at them. The human did not ask permission, she continued. He asked if I was worth saving. Her voice grew stronger, clearer. You fear humans because their bodies endure what yours cannot, she said. But that does not make them monsters. She paused. It makes them teachers. The chamber erupted. Some shouted in anger. Some watched in awe. Some said nothing at all. A senior counselor finally raised a hand. Human Evan Cross, he said slowly, if your species carries this ability, how many humans have access to it? Evan answered without hesitation. All of us. That was when fear truly spread, because the galaxy finally understood the truth. Humans were not powerful because of their weapons. They were powerful because they could endure, adapt, and heal, and they had chosen, until now, to keep that power to themselves. And the biggest question was no longer what humans had done. It was what they would choose to do next. Fear changed into silence. After Evan's words, the council chamber stayed quiet longer than anyone expected. No one argued. No one interrupted. The truth was too heavy. All of them. Every human carried the same biology, the same pain tolerance, the same ability to adapt. That knowledge scared the galaxy more than any weapon. We must control this, one council member finally said. Human technology cannot be allowed to spread. Evan stood straight. You can't control what we are. You can be restricted, another replied. No, Evan said calmly. We can be trusted, or we can walk away. The council did not like that answer. On station K-47, Lyrieth continued her recovery. Every day, she walked a little farther. Every day, her body remembered more. Balance returned. Strength followed. Pain was still there, but it no longer ruled her. The human fluid had fully bonded now. It did not glow anymore. It had become part of her. She no longer needs assistance, a doctor said quietly. Her body is sustaining itself. That frightened him even more. Liriev asked the same question every day. Where's Evan? And every day, the answer hurt. In custody. Until one cycle, the answer changed. He will be released under supervision. Liriev stood when she heard that. No shaking. No support. He comes here, she said. In the council chamber, a final decision was being made. We demand access to the fluid, a delegate said. If humans refuse, they will be classified as a biological threat. Evan's eyes hardened. You don't get to demand survival. Another counselor leaned forward. Then what do humans offer? Evan took a breath. Help, but only to those who ask, not those who command. That answer split the chamber. Some saw danger. Others saw hope. The doors of the holding wing finally opened. Evan walked free. No chains, no guards beside him. His release was careful, political, fragile. When he entered the medical hall, Liriev was already standing there. Their eyes met. For a moment, no one spoke. You walk, Evan said softly. You came back, Liriev replied. She took a step toward him. Then another, smooth, steady. The room held its breath. I did not heal alone, she said. Your people, your pain, lives in me now. Evan shook his head. You did the work. We just opened the door. She smiled, a real smile this time. News spread fast across the galaxy. Humans refused to sell healing fluid. Human aid offered only by consent. Alien ambassador walking after impossible recovery. Species that once ignored humans began sending requests. Not demands. Requests. A mining race with crushed spines. Pilots burned by radiation. Soldiers left broken by war. Humans did not rush. They evaluated. They tested. They warned. This will hurt. This will change you. This is not a miracle. It is endurance. Some refused. Some accepted. Those who accepted survived. Liriev trained beside humans now, learning their movements, their breathing, their discipline. She fell many times. Each time, she stood again. You humans, she said one day, breathless after training. You do not fear falling. Evan nodded. We fear staying down. The council watched all of this with growing unease. Humans were not building armies. They were building trust. And trust spread faster than fear. A final message echoed across council space. Humans are no longer classified as a biological threat. Pause. They are classified as a biological equal. The galaxy had never done that before. Liriev looked out at the stars, standing tall on legs once called useless. They healed me, she said quietly. But what they really healed was how the galaxy sees broken things. Evan smiled faintly. The galaxy was changing. Not because humans conquered it, but because humans refused to abandon those it had already left behind.